What's up, you guys? Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Okay, I had a little bit of an issue with setting this up, so hopefully okay. Yes, it is. Hey, Elizabeth, what's up? Good afternoon, Monifa. What's up? Hey, everybody. So, my name is April, and I'm with astrolotta.com, and I'm doing my weekly horoscope for you guys slash celebrity coffee talk. So, what I do is I tell you what the astrological weather is from one week to the next. And then at the end of the segment, we go over a celebrity's chart, their natal chart, their birth chart, to see how astrology works in real life and in real time. So, this week, well, you know what? I'm just going to dive right into it, you guys, because I have another engagement immediately after this. Okay. So let me just talk about the energy that's still lingering on right now. Hey, everybody in the chat. I see you. I see you. So, Lakeisha, what's up? Thanks for coming through. And Kim, oh my goodness. You guys are always here. I appreciate you. Okay. Yeah. And as you can see, I have the microphone, it's visible. Okay. Like if you don't like microphones all in people's eyeball, too bad because I'm not trying to lose my voice. I've been battling cold and sinus and all this stuff for like the last 2 weeks off and on. So need to preserve the Taurus voice. Okay. So anyhow, what we're going to talk about is the lingering energies right now, what is going on. And then I'm going to get into your horoscope. I was going to do the new moon in Virgo, but there's probably already a lot of information out there about the new moon in Virgo, but I'm going to do a horoscope for you guys for Venus in Scorpio because I wanted to talk about her path through Scorpio. It's not just the fact that Venus is moving into Scorpio in this coming week, but where she's going to be back and forth, and to kind of give you guys an overview of Venus in Scorpio, Venus retrograde, and what that's going to be doing. So I'm going to do that for every sign. And then after that, we will get into the chart of Mac Miller. So if you don't know who Mac Miller is, he's a very young artist. He's a rap artist. And just this afternoon, a few hours ago, he passed away. So usually when that happens, people, they request that I look at someone's chart. So I'll just look at it a little bit. It's still very fresh, very touchy for a lot of people. So I'll just point out a couple of things in his natal chart in case anybody is curious. So we still have the sun opposing Neptune. That's still going on today, which is September 7th of 2018. The sun opposing Neptune. It's crazy because today, September 7th, we have a grand Earth trine. And we also have the sun opposing Neptune. So here's how this can work. The grand Earth trine, that means Mercury is in Virgo, Saturn is in Capricorn, and Uranus is in Taurus. So those are the 4 Earth signs. And that means that those 3 planets are working together harmoniously, beautifully, and they are helping us out with, whatever we need to do in life. And the earth signs are very practical. They are about hard work. They're about consistency and being very persistent and sticking to your plans. And also, you do what you say that you're going to do. You mean what you say. Like you just stick to things. That's the earth energy. So we've got that in the air, right? Then we have the sun in one of the earth signs in Virgo. And it is opposing Neptune in Pisces. And this is the Pisces-Virgo axis, which, oh my gosh, I can say so much about. The Pisces-Virgo axis is about a lot of different things. But let's just talk about just that aspect. Neptune is a dissolving influence. Neptune is about just in outer space, in your own zone, in your own world. You don't really want to pay attention to the practical world. You don't want to sit and do tasks. You don't want to follow time or any type of a plan. It's just kind of floating. Neptune is the ruler of the oceans. So because of that, just think of the oceans and just kind of floating out there when you think of energetically how Neptune feels, how it behaves. Then we have the sun, exuding this Virgo energy that just wants to like have this to-do list and knock it all out and stay on track. So they're opposing each other, which means for some of us, it is a little difficult to stay on track. And then we've got the grand earth trine, which is like encouraging us to stay on track. So there's a little bit of both in the air. Yes, I am very glad and grateful that grand earth trine is popping off at the same time as the sun and Neptune opposition, because maybe it can help some people. Some just can't help themselves for other reasons, in their own natal chart. But maybe it can help some of us to work to still be able to stay consistent. And also Neptune's energy is not all bad. It does rule drugs and alcohol and not wanting to face reality and not wanting to deal with life at all. But it also rules creativity, like music, like movies. Lots of different types of art are ruled by Neptune. So because of that, there's a creative energy in the air, super creative, where you just let the creativity flow through you. You don't even stop to think about it. But then there's also that earth energy that puts things to work, makes things real. So Neptune is about escaping reality and going off into fantasy and things that are in your imagination. And then the earth energy and Virgo energy is about making what's in your imagination reality. So it's imagination and reality coming together. So because of that, maybe some people can actually work really well with this energy, especially artists. So if you are someone who does something creative for a living, like you are some artist of some sort, maybe you're actually thriving today. Maybe your dancing is on point. Maybe you're, writing music or producing or whatever it is, painting, creating stuff is like that. Because if we think about it, some of the greatest entertainers of our lifetime have practical energy and Neptune energy, like the Virgo Pisces axis or 12th and 6th house axis, for example. They kind of represent similar things. Like a good example of this is Michael Jackson. He was a Virgo sun, but a Pisces moon, and speculatively a Pisces rising. So he had like that Pisces imagination, but then he has the Virgo energy that encourages him to work hard and to be very crisp and clean with it. It's like he could follow what he was hearing and move to things. That's very Neptune, just kind of allowing yourself to move. But then the Virgo energy is all about perfecting things and making them very sharp and clear. So anyway, that's how a lot of us may be handling our day. Some people, I just saw some people in the chat say something about they're tired. Yeah, Neptune is a dissolving energy once again, and it literally can dissolve energy. Like the sun can rule your vitality, and the Neptune can dissolve your vitality if it touches like the sun or another planet in your chart or something like that. But by transit, yeah, everybody might feel a little like extra sleepy and just not even wanting to do much. And it's a good thing that this is happening on a Friday, and the energy will linger in through the weekend. So it is a good time to escape out to do some vacationing if you can, or be near water, or maybe take like a really long shower or bath, like one that's enjoyable, where you have music on, you're singing, you have like some kind of good scented something, bath bomb, essential oils, whatever, like all that stuff that can make a bath or a shower a little bit more enjoyable, So that is the Sun and Neptune opposition, and the grand Earth trine. Yes, work. Okay. Now on the 9th, we have a new moon in Virgo, and new moons are when the sun and moon, they come together and they're working together. They're saying, you know what? Something has to, like the full moon is the opposition of the sun and moon, and they say, oh my God, something has to give, but they're opposing each other. One side represents one thing, the other side represents another, and they're like ring, and then finally they're like, you know what, we have to agree to disagree, or you know what, we have to stop this fighting and we have to meet in the middle somehow. But the new moon is the sun and moon. They're together and they're blending harmoniously together, and they're like, what can we create? what can we start or grow, you know? So with it being in Virgo, I mean, that is maybe something to do with work, just in general, what Virgo represents. Something to do with work, something to do with self-care. A lot of people I know are working on self-care. A lot of people are working on like mental health stuff right now too, especially with the opposition to Neptune, because the Virgo Pisces axis do represent wellness and sickness too. That's mental, that's physical, everything. Okay. Neptune and Pisces are more like the spiritual and mental well-being, and then Virgo can be mental as well, and the physical, taking care of your physical body. So how to maintain a balance could be something that comes up for people, like a new way to figure out, how do I maintain balance and my sanity? You know what I'm saying? So, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which does rule the mind. So that's why that can deal with mental stuff. And Neptune rules Pisces. And Pisces, Neptune, the 12th house, they rule things that are in the back of your mind, like that you imagine, daydream about, that you actually dream about at night. Like that part of your brain is ruled by that. Okay. So they're opposing each other. So there could be something where you want to believe something to be true. You know, Virgo is about the cold, hard facts, and Pisces is about feeling. Like, if I feel this right, you know, my intuition tells me it's right, then it, you know, that's what I'm going to roll with. But the two are opposing each other. So it's like, what is reality and what is just like, I really just want to make this reality for myself, but it may be only reality in your mind. So a lot of people may be questioning something like that. Like, do I have all the facts to prove that this is real? Or am I just kind of rolling with things? You know, the ocean, rolling with the homies, you know, just swimming along, just taking whatever comes to you, not checking around to see, oh, hold on, what's around me? What's this? What's that? What's all the details? So there's an opposition with that. The good thing is the new moon is working with Pluto in Capricorn. So there is still some grounding, some extra grounding earthy energy involved in the new moon. And Pluto is about uncovering hidden information. Okay. So, and Pluto also rules psychology. So I feel like there's a lot of mental health stuff with this new moon. Because, yeah, Pluto rules diving way beneath the surface. It rules the part of your mind too, like the things that you purposely hide back there, like traumatic experiences, things that you say, you know what, I don't want to deal with it right now. So I'm just going to put it away. I'm just going to store it away. So Pluto rules that. And so there's that element of the new moon included too. So, you know, and Pluto does transform. So there could be like maybe some more secrets that are coming to light, things that are proven to be fact or things that are proven to not be fact. There's a lot of stuff like that in the air. So that's a new moon in Virgo, and that happens on the 9th. As far as every sign, I think I already went through like the sun in Virgo maybe a week or two ago, and pretty much it's just bringing a new beginning in the area of your chart that Virgo rules. And maybe if you want to go back like 2 weeks, it's a new beginning in that area if you want to look at that horoscope. So also on the 9th, this is when Venus moves into Scorpio. Oh my gosh. And look I brought back my Scorpio mug. It's a Dia de los Muertos skull. Some people say sugar skull, I guess. Day of the Dead is what it is in English. And you know, stuff like this is associated with Scorpio. People will think, ooh, Halloween time. Well, Halloween is during Scorpio season, so same thing. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, speaking of the mental health stuff, jumping back to that really quick. I was listening to I finally got a chance to listen to Ariana Grande's new album, and she has a couple of songs on there that actually deal with anxiety and some mental health stuff. And I was surprised because she's a pop artist. She tends to come off very sweet and everything. And I even tried her perfume out at the store yesterday, and it smells very sweet. Both of her perfumes smell very sweet. So she seems like a very sweet person, very innocent, very, happy. But then she really dove into some stuff about anxiety and dealing with stuff like that on her new album. I was like, wow. I just listened to it this morning, and then I don't know. I'll save the rest for the coffee talk, but I just wanted to point that out while I remembered it. Somebody said something about a scam. I don't know what you're talking about, but you know what? The Sun and Neptune opposition. One thing to be cautious of, you guys, is people invading your privacy, not seeing the boundaries with your personal space, your belongings, or your information. Because that tends to happen a lot when there are squares, oppositions, and conjunctions to Neptune. And it happens every year. For right now, since Neptune is an immutable sign until the mid-2020s, this will be until the mid-2020s that every time planets transit through the mutable signs, they're going to either square, oppose, or conjunct Neptune. So during mutable seasons, which are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, really protect your stuff, okay? I did hear about a couple of celebrity break-ins in the last week, and one person who is a kind of a celebrity burglarizing a place that's owned by his friend, and that's the whole mental health thing. I think he has some mental health stuff to deal with too, but also that Neptune, and he's double mutable. He's a Sag Sun, Gemini moon. So there's he's receiving a lot of mutable squares and oppositions and all this stuff. Squares. Yeah. Lots of mutable squares right now, including Neptune. So he burglarized his friend's restaurant. And I was like, that's Sun and Neptune opposition all day, So protect your stuff. And don't allow yourself to go way too off the deep end with the escapism. That's my best advice. Okay. So now jumping back, sorry, you guys know by now that I do that, that I tend to do that. I do have Uranus aspecting my moon, and it just makes me do stuff like that. So now let's get back into Venus and Scorpio, and then I will give your horoscope for every sign for Venus and Scorpio. So Venus enters Scorpio on the 9th, right? So Venus is love, money, what we enjoy. It's beauty, style, what you enjoy looking at, aesthetically pleasing things. It's relationships. So first of all, she's going to step into Scorpio, and right away, she's going to square Mars, okay? Venus and Mars are already squaring right now, but in different signs, in Libra and Capricorn. And those are cardinal signs. And, so it might be a little bit of a different feeling. But then in the fixed signs, it could be maybe even more a little stubborn because the fixed signs are super stubborn. Okay. So Venus and Mars are squaring each other. Woo! And actually, this Venus and Mars square is going to be going on throughout this whole month, and I think for some parts of October too, if I can recall. So that is the masculine and the feminine squaring off. So there's so many things that can happen with that. I think I may have shared with you guys when Venus and Mars were opposing each other earlier in the summertime. That's another harsh Venus and Mars aspect. There was an interview that came out with Amber Rose. She was being interviewed by some older gentleman. When I think about how he talks, maybe it's wrong, but God, I don't know. Just how he talks is just hilarious. And he has this really old-fashioned mindset. So, and Amber Rose is very new age, very liberated and free and feminist and everything. So their conversation was very interesting and kind of funny. So, but it was on the exact day of a Venus and Mars harsh aspect, and it was very public. And it was the masculine questioning the feminine on femininity. And it was back and forth with the roles of the masculine and the feminine. So we may see something like that come up again. We may see that maybe in the media, maybe you'll see it around you in the workplace with your personal conversations, personal relationships. I don't know. You might see that. Yeah, it can cause tension within relationships too, just in general, like romantic ones especially. Um, that's not to say gloom and doom and that everybody's gonna just be breaking up with everybody, but it can cause tension. What you decide to do with that tension is all up to you. Okay, like, are you going to use that tension, the discomfort of the tension, to say, you know what, I want to find a resolution and work everything out, or are you going to use it to just wallow and grimace and be all bitter Betty about things and just like, I just don't want to deal with you. Like, which way are you going to go? It's really up to you. So yeah, Venus squares Mars right away. So she's going into Scorpio. Then she's going to get up to 10 degrees of Scorpio. Okay. And then she's going to go retrograde on October 5th at 10 degrees of Scorpio. So whatever goes on now from September 9th through October 5th, that ground is going to be covered 3 times. Okay. Once direct, and then again retrograde. So from October 5th until October 31st, going back over September 9th through October 5th. Okay. So really pay attention. If you can remember, write down those dates. This is Mercury and Virgo season. Okay. Mercury and Virgo is all about writing down those notes. So write down these dates if you can and keep track of things, especially if you know your natal chart and you know where Scorpio is, what house Scorpio is, what it rules for you. If same thing with Aquarius, where those are at in your chart, and those areas are kind of like conflicting with one another. You know what I mean? You can kind of figure that out. And then Venus will go back into Scorpio direct December 2nd. Okay, December 2nd, 2018. So from December 2nd until December 17th, it'll be back in those same degrees, the first 10 degrees of Scorpio, covering the same grounds as September 9th through October 5th, and then October 5th through October 31st. Okay, so whatever happens with love or money, just know that if you feel like things are not really moving forward, that could be why. Okay. Love or money, those are the most common things Venus rules. It rules more than that though. If you are trying to do something with your looks, with vanity, with something with your looks, like a major new thing, like trying a new haircut, a new hair color, a new procedure. I know a lot of especially women, no, some guys too, nowadays they get like fillers and Botox and all that stuff. So if you've never tried it before, don't try it this fall, okay? Maybe wait until like after December, or maybe like mid-December on. If this is something that you routinely do, stick with the same routine, the same doctor, the same hairdresser, the same whatever. Same with buying anything Venus ruled, like clothing, shoes, jewelry, perfume. You may like a scent now and be like, oh my gosh, this smells so good. But then Venus will go retrograde and then it'll move forward. And then maybe when it's finally done with all that stuff, you'll smell and be like, this doesn't even smell that great. That happened to me the last time Venus was retrograde. Oh my gosh. I didn't listen to my own advice. And I smelled this perfume and I was like, it smells so good. And then now I think I've used it like 2 or 3 times. And this was like, 2 years ago or something. Like a year or 2 ago. Yeah. And it doesn't really smell that great anymore. I was like, I shouldn't have bought that during a dang Venus retrograde. Okay. So, that is the dates for Venus retrograde, Venus entering Scorpio. I will elaborate more on it when Venus actually does go retrograde, but I just wanted to let you know the path that she's going to be on because she's entering Scorpio. And it's not just, oh, she entered Scorpio, it's not going to be a normal journey for her through Scorpio. Okay. So just giving you guys a heads up. But yeah, in the future, I'll go more in detail. So pardon me 1 second. Okay, so the next aspect I'm going to talk about, then I'll get into your Venus and Scorpio horoscope, is Mercury in an opposition to Neptune. So pretty much very similar to what today, which is September 7th, what we talked about, similar things apply when Mercury opposes Neptune on the 13th. That means more things to do with the mental and the communication, the speech, remembering things, what you do with your hands, so we can more easily like drop things or forget things or, you know, misspeak or lose our train of thought, daydream, more of that, you know, mind stuff, hand stuff. But also same thing, if you're an artist, Mercury rules the hands and Neptune is like beautifully creating things from your imagination. So you can have more of an advantage if you're in that type of a field or industry or whatever, or have that hobby. But maybe if you sit in a cubicle all day, you crunch numbers, you do spreadsheets, your mind is going to go, woo. It's really going to trail off, you know, and a lot of people tend to be late. They tend to be late and lose track of time. Late for work or late, like leaving work, you know, because they're just like under some heavy Neptune transit. So that goes for the Sun opposition and the Mercury opposition. So if you work, you know, a regular job, look around you, see, are people like trailing in late? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, or I overslept. A lot of people oversleep when there's Neptune oppositions. So that's definitely happening this week. Okay. So now let me get into your horoscope for Venus and Scorpio. What signs, you know, what areas for what signs are you going to have to maybe watch those dates? Okay. So starting out with Aries, of course. Me first. So Aries, Venus and Scorpio is going to affect your 8th house. So, and because of the shadow period, we're currently in shadow period until it goes retrograde on October 5th. Okay. So, and you know, pretty much the next couple of months, Aries, you're going to be dealing with some 8th house stuff. 8th and 7th. I think I talked about Venus and Libra already. So maybe you can go back a couple weeks or whatever, but focusing on Scorpio, that's your 8th house. So Venus moving into your 8th house, it may feel really great as far as bonding with someone in an intimate way. Maybe if you get into a new relationship and it's just like really on fire, you know, like, oh, wow, the connection is so great. We really connect on a soul level. We talk about all these deep topics and they're just, you know, breaking down the barriers of me being guarded, that type of a thing. If you experience love in that way and it's new, it might be great. It might feel great, but Venus retrograde could have you kind of like rethinking things. Now, Venus in the 8th house can also mean something to do with finances for Aries people. So it could be that you're trying to get, Venus is like a benefit, some kind of benefit you're trying to get. So when it's in the 8th house, there could be like a benefit that you're trying to receive, like a financial one. That can mean you're trying to get a loan, you're trying to borrow money, maybe you're trying to open up a credit card or some sort of a credit account. And maybe you will have some successes there. Maybe it'll be difficult. Maybe it'll be a longer process and there could be delays because of when Venus goes retrograde. So I'm just giving you a heads up, Aries people, that any financials, especially joint financial matters, that means you and another person, like you and a partner, you need to be very cautious. Okay. That you're not like stepping into something without reading all the fine print. Use all the Virgo energy in the air to read all the fine print. Okay. And to also think about the facts when you're getting to know somebody on an intimate level. Like, are they really who they say they are? Are they really being truthful with me about anything? Okay. So that's what Venus and Scorpio is going to be working on for Aries people. So for Tauruses, Venus and Scorpio is in your 7th house. So for you guys, it's really relationship stuff. So once again, maybe don't try, like, getting into something new may not be the best idea. If it does happen, Taurus, you know, I'm not saying to just keep yourself hidden away in a little Taurus cave, you know, with your snacks Okay, like just munching and like not even communicating with people because you're afraid of Venus retrograde. No, still, do what you have to do. If you meet people, it's still whatever. But at the same time, just know that something that starts is brand new. When there's a retrograde, there's a chance that it could not really transpire the way that you want it to. So just keep your eyes open. Yeah, keep your heart open, but keep your eyes open for things, and don't get too caught up, because either you or the other person could end up changing your minds. And so you just want to try to keep things light as possible if you're getting to know someone. And since Venus is your ruling planet, Taurus, and she's going retrograde, all the stuff I said about changing your appearance in a drastic way applies to you especially. So no new hairdresser lady or man, whatever. No new hairdresser, no new barber, okay? Because you may not be satisfied with the results of what they do. They may make you bald-headed or something, okay? So what else for Taurus people? Yeah, Venus retro in the 7th. If it comes to a collaboration on something, it doesn't have to be a romantic thing. If there's a collaboration, yeah, still be cautious with that too, because maybe you can change your mind about it or the other person could. What's up, Brittany? Brittany asks, what about Taurus who are already in a relationship? Well, you could be rethinking the relationship. You could be doing a lot of reviewing and revising of the existing relationship. And that doesn't have to mean you have to be terrified of a breakup. Not necessarily. I mean, if you review and you revise and you see all these red flags, like, wow, I wasn't even looking at these before, and now I'm not cool with these. I'm not comfortable with these. This person has to go. That's your decision, But it could be a time to go back to old ways that you guys used to do things that you lost touch with. It could be something to that degree, just kind of getting back in touch with each other if you've lost it. And or just a lot of reminiscing together with your partner. Yes, it can bring, super sacred space. Yes, it can bring people from the past back. I have seen Venus retrograde do that. Oh my gosh, did I see it firsthand? One of my close friends, she got bit by Venus retrograde a few years ago. She broke up with an ex. He got with a new girl. He came back crying to her. It sounded like a scene from a movie. She said it was raining and everything. Oh my God, like all the dramatic, like everything dramatic you can imagine. And she said, oh, we got together and it was so beautiful and blissful. And he just cried in my arms. And then he left when it was all over. Then he left back to the other woman. And that was it. And she was like, I feel dumb. And I was like, Venus retrograde, girl. Just don't do it. The exes, yes, people will try to reminisce because it is reminiscing going back. So people may start missing old love, and Scorpio rules a lot of things that we try to hold on to and that are hard to let go of. Venus in Scorpio in itself is super possessive. So, some people may feel like that, like reaching out to your old boo, your exes or whatever. It's not really the best thing to do, okay? Not the best thing. All right, so next up is Gemini. So if you're a Gemini rising, sun, or moon, Venus in Scorpio is going to enter your 6th house. So for some of you guys, it could be that you guys are going to have people kind of helping you out at work a little bit more. And maybe you can make a better impression on people in your work environment. And the retrograde, we are in shadow, and then we're going to go into retrograde like next month. But let's see. So Venus in the 6th house. If you're looking for a new job, just be mindful of the fact that something may not stick when it comes to a deal, especially involving money, like negotiation of pay. Like maybe they can offer you a job and offer you a certain amount of pay, but then they can say, oh, wait, never mind, we changed our mind. Or maybe you can say that, oh, you know what, never mind. I changed my mind about this. This isn't what I expected. So it could be that you can have maybe, I don't know, old coworkers come back from the past, come back and say, hey, I'm back, you guys. Maybe it's somebody that you actually liked. Venus in the sixth house in general can also deal with habits. Like if you have a habit of something Venusian, that means if you have a habit of eating certain things, you know, there could be you going back over that, like going back over your diet, maybe going and rethinking, like if you eat a lot of sweets or something, like if you have a habit of indulging, because Venus can be indulging. So if you have a habit of indulging, maybe you could be thinking like, oh wow, like I don't know if I want to indulge like this anymore. Or, you know, maybe your diet isn't really working out. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to review and revise my diet and maybe not try something new, but rework things, not start a brand new diet. Oh no, Gemini, don't do it. Don't do it during Venus in this phase. Okay. Maybe mid-December and beyond. Okay. So that's pretty much what it is for Gemini. I'm going to have to go through these pretty fast, you guys. So I'm sorry. But now Cancer. So if you're Cancer rising, sun or moon, Venus in, oh my gosh, Venus in Scorpio is in your fifth house, which is romance. Speaking of Cancers, I'm sorry, I have to text one really quick. I'm just going to say live stream. There. Okay. So Cancers, this is romance for you. So this can mean that Venus in the fifth, yes, it is a really fun romantic time. You're going to be craving that, craving romance, craving that type of attention on you. Okay. But same thing, you know, take it easy. Don't get too caught up in anything, because Venus retrograde, when it comes to something new, can have you changing your mind or have another person changing their mind. But if you have like an existing relationship that's romantic, maybe it could be bringing that spark back, bringing that romance back that maybe was lost a little bit, you know, kind of similar to what Taurus is going through. So it could be, yeah, remember the time? Remember when we first fell in love? Remember the honeymoon phase? You remember how it made us feel? So it could be bringing stuff like that back. Yes. But also Venus in the fifth house can be hobbies. So it could be bringing back an old hobby that you had, something that made you really happy when you did it, and you have a great talent in it, for example. So it could be something from a blast from the past in that way. It doesn't have to be an old lover. There could be old lovers though. Okay. There could be old lovers coming back from the past for Cancer people too, trying to show up in your DMs or at your door or something. Okay. So I don't know. Let's see. Lily, is it a good time to buy a failing business? Are you a Cancer, Lily? If you are a Cancer, especially Cancer rising, it is not, because the fifth house can deal with business sometimes, like starting a business. This is a failing business. That is still kind of a new business venture for you. Is it a good time to buy a failing business whose CEO is accused of fraud? I would say because of your Cancer sun. Okay, maybe because of the Venus retrograde. No, because Venus does rule money, and the fifth house can deal with business. So maybe not. And Saturn is in your second house, so you need to be very wise and cautious anyway of your investments because of that. So it may not be the best idea, but of course, only you know all the details to be able to really make that decision. But that's my advice. So, yeah, so for Cancer, it's like romance, it's fun, it's maybe bringing some things back, but be very cautious of anything new, you know, to do with stuff like that. You may even try a new hobby and be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. It's so much fun. But then you may feel like when the Venus retrograde is over, like, I'm not even really interested in that anymore. It was fun while it lasted. You know, that's probably the worst of it. Oh, and exes. Just dodge them, Cancer. Woo, you know, just block them. All right, so next up is Leo. So if you're Leo rising, sun or moon, Venus in Scorpio will be in your 4th house. This is beautiful for family, for spending time with your family. And yes, it's going sign by sign in order of the zodiac, as always, Lisa. So Leo, it's going to be affecting your family life, your home life. Like maybe you'll feel like spending more time at home, decorating your home, or excuse me, like spending time with family, like inviting family over, having some good times with them. You know, it is kind of like that season, at least in the part of the world I live in, to where people are like, the weather is kind of getting a little nicer and it's not as hot, you know, in some places, and people are gathering with family. So Leos, this really a time for that for you. What I would say to be cautious of, because Venus is in shadow and then will eventually go retrograde in Scorpio, is anything to do with brand new stuff with homes. Okay. Maybe not the best time to buy a new home or to buy new decoration, like redecorate or remodel a home and say, well, if it's something that you've already had in the works, retrograde, it could be a good time for remodeling. Like, okay, we've already been having this in the works, having it on the back burner to redo something. So it could work out, but if it's something new, like I all of a sudden just want to like buy a bunch of decorations and stuff for my house and change the whole thing, you know, the whole theme. Maybe you may not like it when Venus moves forward. If you buy a home, maybe when Venus moves forward, you may decide this is not the home for me. It doesn't make me feel comfortable, or there's something about it I just don't like. So if any of you guys have to move during Scorpio season, which a lot of Leos do because that's their 4th house season, just be wise in your decisions. Just look over all the details. Just you know, get a really good feel for things before you jump into them. Okay. So that's what it is for Leo. So for Virgo, Sun, rising, or moon, Venus in Scorpio is going to be in your 3rd house, which is, you know, it's how you communicate. It's little day-to-day places that you go to run errands and do stuff. And it's also learning new things, reading stuff, Virgo stuff. Okay. Because 3rd house, it's very similar to a mercurial energy, and you guys are ruled by Mercury. So it's like action in the mind. So for Virgo people, Venus in the 3rd, yeah, you may be craving variety when it comes to love. A lot of people go through that with the 3rd house transit of Venus. They crave variety. They get bored very easily. They want to maybe date one person on one day, another day they go out with this person, another day they go out with a different person, and maybe they might switch them around. No judgment here, Virgo. Okay, it's a 3rd house thing. Do you? Or some people just, maybe not even with dating, you just want to be a little more social. You know, you just want to hang out with different people, have different conversations here, there, over here, meet new people to converse with, and just enjoy the art of conversation in general. For some of you guys, if you're trying to get a vehicle, because the 3rd house can rule how you travel about. And for some people that is vehicles, maybe not the best time to just go out all of a sudden and shop for a brand new vehicle and buy it when Venus is retrograde, because Venus rules material things that you buy and it rules your money. So if it's in the 3rd house of driving, some of you guys, you know, may be thinking, oh, I'm just going to hop out there and go buy a new car. Not the best time, Virgo. Not the best time. If it's redoing something with your present vehicle, it can, you know, work out for you. But brand new vehicles that you just barely found an interest in during this exact period, probably not the best. And you could, you know, maybe get in contact with, like, as far as old people coming from the back, could be like neighbors or old childhood friends, or like cousins, or somebody that you haven't heard from in a long time. Okay, so next up is Libra. So if you're a Libra rising, sun or moon, Venus in Scorpio is going to be in your 2nd house. So also for Libras, Venus is your ruling planet. So if you want to do anything brand spanking new to your attendance, oh my God, to your appearance, brand new to your appearance during this Venus cycle, and jump out and say, you know what? I've never gotten, what's it called? Like those filler things. I never got Botox before. I think I'm going to try it. No, Libra, just don't do it, because Venus is also going to be retrograde in your sign too. Okay. So just wait till the new year, wait till January to be out of the shadow zone and everything. If you can, if you want to jump up and decide, well, I want to get like a plastic surgery, not the best time. Remember, routine procedures, the same places, same things that you do all the time. Cool. All right. And for you guys, with it being in your second house, this is what you spend your money on, what you like buying. And it's how you deal with your money, and it's how you earn your money. So some of you guys may have a situation where you do get an increase in your income in some sort of way, but or you have an opportunity to have that. But retrogrades can mean things can be retracted. I've seen it happen a lot, unfortunately, like offers being retracted during retrogrades. So I'm not saying to not look for a new job if you want one, or not try to bring in more money at all. This is just be very cautious and just be open to change. Okay. Be open to change. You may, when you buy things, like, you have to be careful with what you buy, because if it's something brand new that you've never bought before, you may not like it. You may not like it. Like when Venus, or you may like end up returning it, like returning stuff a lot. I had a planet retrograde in my second house last year, and that's exactly what I did, is go shopping, pick up something, walk around the store, and then be like, well, I don't know if I want this. And Libras, you guys are already like back and forth, indecisive. And it was just like, I don't know if I want this. And then I put it back. Then I'd walk around and be like, you know what? I think I do. And then go get it. And like, I did that a few times. And then there was something that I bought, and then I ended up like not liking it, and I had to return it. So Libras, definitely just be aware that you may go through something like that, and be very like solid in your decisions with purchases if you can. Okay. With your finances, you may be reviewing what you spend your money on and what your wants versus needs are. So that's a good way to use this Venus retrograde energy. Wants versus needs. Where's your money go? Do you spend it wisely? Do you invest it? Do you need to revise your savings plans if you have one? So all of that. So Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio rising, sun, or moon, Venus in Scorpio is going into your sign. And because it's in the first house of, the self and the body and the appearance, Scorpio, you are another sign that should be very cautious with getting any brand new procedures for the sake of vanity done. Okay. That means even going to the barbershop if you're a dude, or if you're a chick that likes a tight fade, it means buying products that you use on your body to enhance your appearance. It means getting your hair colored. Like, I just want to try blue hair. I've never tried it before. No, Scorpio, please do not. You may not like it. It may turn out like trash and leave you bald. Okay. So Venus in your first house. Well, overall, usually Venus in the first house, like, hey, you feel very good. You feel very attractive. But this is the first impression. You'll be radiating Venus energy off of you. And we all like that. We all like to be well liked by others and everything. But maybe the retrograde and the shadow and everything will have you rethinking your appearance. Like, hopefully it doesn't have you like picking at it and looking at yourself like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Like, I just want to change everything. Just get a total facelift, body lift, everything. So hopefully it won't do that, but hopefully it'll just have you looking at yourself overall in a different way. Like, wow, do people really see me in this light? Maybe I want to do something about that. It's not necessarily like how you look always either. It could be just how you present yourself, the impression that people get of you when they meet you. Do you like for it to be pleasant, or do you like to have the RBF on? Scorpios are like famous for that. Why don't you smile? So, hey, if you always get the why don't you smile, maybe the Venus retrograde have you thinking like, well, why don't I smile? Like, what would make me smile and not have these dudes always bothering me, asking me how come I don't smile? Does my man not make me smile enough? And all that silly stuff. No, but Scorpio, for real, yeah, maybe just rethinking a lot of things, even what you consider to be beautiful, even what you value, how you value yourself, how much of yourself do you give away to others besides, instead of like, and how much do you hold on to yourself? You know, how much of yourself do you give to yourself? Does that make sense? Sorry, Sun and Neptune, woo, to the mind. But yeah, just you could be rethinking a lot of things that have to do with love, money, vanity, how you look, how you feel about yourself in many different ways. So next up is Sagittarius. So if you're Sag, rising, sun, or moon, Venus in Scorpio is going to be in your 12th house. To be honest, Sagittarius, well, see, you guys are normally very very free-spirited people, you know, very happy-go-lucky. You don't really let anyone or anything get you down normally, okay? So I'm not too worried about my Sagittarian people, but hey, everybody goes through transits every once in a while, and it can kind of change their normal demeanor. So Venus in the 12th house, when I think of Venus there, I think of longing for something or someone that is at a distance that you can't have or that's not realistic for you. So it can have you like considering who or what is real when it comes to love, especially. And who do you look at in an idealistic light? Like, I really want to see the good in them, so therefore I'm going to paint this image of them. But really, they could be a jerk, you know? And it can have you, yeah, craving for maybe a long lost love. Maybe one of those people can come back from the past too. Venus in the 12th is a common, what I call creep-in transit, Sagittarius. Okay, if you don't know what that means, creeping around, you know, kind of low key under the radar with somebody that maybe is forbidden, because the 12th house can dissolve boundaries, but sometimes you need to have boundaries up between you and others. So it can kind of let those down. And a lot of times when I've seen people participate in infidelity or attract people to them who want to have those type of relationships, like extramarital affairs or something, they have a transit of like Venus in the 12th or Mars in the 12th. And I'm not saying all Saggies are cheaters and you guys are just going to be all cheating all over the place. No, even you guys can attract people that are going to try to proposition you. So just be aware of that. And remember, Venus is retrograde. So things can be boomeranged right back at you if your actions are not cool. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But Venus in the 12th is a very creative transit too, though. Like, you could be really in your feelings, yes, but through your feelings, you can express them artistically and create some really beautiful things. You may feel like having more alone time and just kind of indulging, which is Venus, and 12th house stuff, which could be like movies and lots of music, listening to music. But some of you guys can do the whole escapism thing. Just don't take that too far, because things can backfire on you if you decide to party really hard, drink a lot, you know, ingest something that takes your mind into an alternate universe. The 12th house rules that. And Venus is enjoyment. So you may be enjoying that, but Venus retrograde can mean like there's a lesson there with you doing that can come up that may like send you flat on your buttocks, and it won't be cute. So that's for Sagittarius. So Capricorn, sun, rising, or moon, Venus in Scorpio is going to be in your 11th house. This is your networks of people. So what this means is, you know, you may make some good impressions. Just overall, Venus being in the 11th is making a good impression on people, like over social media. That can mean even in social situations that are in person too. So yeah, it can mean that. Speaking of Capricorn, oh my God, see, my husband is a Cancer sun and a Capricorn rising. He was texting me during Cancer, and now he's texting me during Capricorn. I don't know if he's getting my messages. Sorry. Live stream. Okay. Sorry, Cappies. One of your people were bothering me. So, yeah, you can make a good impression, you know, in person, in social groups or situations or networks. And And also maybe like if you have like one that you manage yourself, that is a network, maybe you can have something good happen there. Venus is creativity, and sometimes creative projects can be associated with Venus. And in the 11th house, that can mean that some Capricorns do want to release a creative project of some sort. Now, with that being said, Venus is going to be going retrograde. So it may not be the best time, it may not be the best time to release a brand new or come up with a brand new thing. Come up with a brand new thing and put it out there. If it's something that you've had in the works and maybe you're reworking it, including something like a website, that's also 11th house. It could be like you're reworking it and then you're going to release it. There could be several reworkings of it during Venus retrograde. We'll get more into that when Venus is actually retrograde, which is like in a month. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up that whatever you start right now, 11th house related, it may not completely stick, okay? And just be open to change, open to learning and adjusting things. And that can even mean friendships. Maybe you guys can have old friends come back from the past. That can actually be fun and a positive thing, okay? Old friends coming back, yes, wanting to reunite with you, Capricorn. So peel yourself away from your desk and, get out there, do it. Just do it, have fun. Okay, so next up is Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius rising, sun, or moon, then Venus in Scorpio is going to be in your 10th house. So what that means is your public image, like how people see you. They will be seeing you in a more positive light, especially if you work in any type of job where you have anyone working above you too. The 10th house rules your bosses and your higher ups. So maybe they can be seeing you in a positive light too, Aquarius. Like, wow, Aquarius is a hard worker. The spotlight is on them right now, and we're really, checking them out. Sometimes Venus in the 10th can mean you get a promotion or a raise or something too, because Venus is money, 10th house is career. It could mean that something like that is presented to you, but it's going to be like some sort of an offer. Like if you receive some sort of an offer, just be open to change, because when Venus goes retrograde in a month, maybe people can say, oh, you know what? We retract that offer. So I'm not saying if you're looking for a new career, new job, which I do know at least one of my Aquarius rising friends is putting their resumes out there and all of that. Just be aware that if you apply for something and they call you and they say, oh my gosh, we're going to call you in for an interview, we're going to offer you this job, just be open to it not sticking if something happens and they say, oh, you know what, never mind. Or you find out something about the job and say, oh, you know what, never mind, it's not for me. Don't feel too bad about it. Don't be too hard on yourself, because it's just, the retrograde period could be a time when things like that happen. It could be you revising something to do with your public image too, like revamping it is a good idea of something to do during Venus retrograde. Revamping your public image, maybe not putting something out there fresh and brand new to the public during that time, but yeah, going back over, like rebranding. Sometimes people do with retrogrades in their 10th house. But yeah, so Venus entering there could be like starting something like that, like, starting to look around the 10th house, whatever it is for you, and wanting to beautify it. But there will be a retrograde, which I will elaborate even more deeper on when the retrograde comes. Okay. All right. So next up is Pisces. So if you're a Pisces rising, sun, or moon, Venus in Scorpio will be in your 9th house, which is usually it's very fun. Venus is enjoyment. 9th house is don't worry, be happy, no worries. Let me just jump out there and do things just because I want to. It's being excited about life. And for some people, traveling makes them excited about life, makes them feel like they're living their best one and experiencing great things that open their minds, so that's 9th house stuff. So for some Pisces people, it could be that you're planning a trip. If you have a trip that's already been planned, like it's already been set before this whole Venus thing, I would say that just to be aware that there could be some delays still when Venus is in shadow and retrograde in September, October. There could be some delays with it, okay, even if you got everything set in advance. But maybe not jump and plan something like brand new for any type of a travel, like for leisure type of a thing, when Venus is in your ninth house. Okay, maybe not start something new, but Venus in the ninth can also be something financial to do with schooling. Okay, like if you're trying to get like student loans, or what was the other thing, like financial aid or something for college, for furthering your education, just know that there could be some possible delays with that during the retrograde period. And you just got to go with the flow. You know what I mean? So that's mostly what it is. But Venus in the ninth can really make you feel like you're living it up. You want that feeling. You want that feeling of just of happiness and like freedom. You know what I'm saying? So it's not all bad. It's not all bad. But Venus in the ninth, yeah, that's mostly what it can represent for you guys. What else? Venus in the ninth house. There was something else I was gonna say. You know, the Sun and Neptune opposition can really have you like have your mind just float off. So my apologies if I'm being somewhat like that, you guys. But yeah, that's what it is for Pisces people. It could be something to do with traveling, something to do with just getting out and exploring a little bit more. Even if it's local, it doesn't have to mean, oh, going to another country. It's like, no, maybe there's some festivals going on locally and you go to check them out, you know? So that's what it is for Venus and Scorpio for all the signs. Remember the dates that I gave you guys. Remember the time periods. If for any reason you don't remember them, leave them in the comments. I do check the comments here and there for you guys' like suggestions on coffee talk subjects and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want me to like type out the dates or something, then you guys let me know. If you didn't take notes properly, like Mercury and Virgo would tell you to. All right, guys. So don't forget, I do have readings available on astrolotta.com. Virgo season. Virgo is a sign of the job, of work, of, you know, the work that you do to make it up to a career. So I do have career readings that I specialize in on my readers page. And I give you not only what your ideal career could be, but also I give you a horoscope of upcoming career changes. When might you see like promotions or job changes or whatever. Also, I do offer a webinar here on Astrolotta of Lotta and I going over how to see career yourself in your own chart. If you are more like keen to astrology and you just want to look for yourself, what does all of this mean as far as career for me in my natal chart? You know, I do have that option as well. Okay. And I give you transits, like career transits, like what are the best times for this, that, or the other. So all that information is in the info box. Okay. All right, guys. So now I really have to, I'm very short on time. I have maybe 10 minutes. So let's get into the chart of Mr. Mac Miller. Wow. So when I was sitting at my desk and I was gathering and collecting all the notes for today's live stream, actually, is when I was scrolling through social media and I saw the little announcement that this young man passed away from an overdose. And it's very sad. You know, I can't say personally that I was too familiar with his work. I've heard his name a lot. I am, you know, somewhat of a fan of Ariana Grande, and I know that they were dating for like 2 years. And she's a Cancer sun and he's a Cancer moon. And usually that combination can, you know, can have a very, very close relationship. But yeah, he passed from an overdose. And, you know, I talked earlier about the Virgo Pisces axis in the air activated right now. And that can mean things to do with health and wellness. It can deal with like addictions too, because Virgo is your habits that you have, like your physical things that you're just used to doing all the time. Some people, they have a habit of smoking, you know, cigarettes. They have to have that hand to mouth contact all the time. It's just something they do, you know. Some people, they always have to have their coffee. Like every morning they get up at the same time, they make their cup of coffee, and you know, they get stimulated and then they're like, oh, okay, now I'm awake, and they feel like they need it because it's a routine thing that they do. For some people, it's other things. It's drugs, and Neptune deals with escapism and Virgo deals with reality, the realities of things that we do day to day, the problems of life. Is Virgo. And then Neptune is not wanting to deal with those problems. So that's why when there's a Virgo Pisces axis activated in the sky like this through an opposition, then we can see some things sometimes like, what happened to this young man, unfortunately, or people just really struggling with their habits, struggling with addiction, struggling with, holding on to their sanity in some sort of way. So I'm going to show his chart. And I know, Kimara, yeah, and Burt Reynolds passed away yesterday of a heart attack. I didn't really get a chance to look into his chart, but a few of my other astrology friends did. And they made some very really good points about his personality and his life, like brilliant posts about it, about him, about Burt Reynolds. So, we wish him well on his next journey and next lifetime too. So, I thought I already had it pulled up. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to screen share really quick and I'm going to show you guys Mac Miller's chart. So he was a rap artist, if you don't know. He was a rap artist, pretty young, only 26 years old. And I guess he's been back and forth with addictions over the years. And he was dating Ariana Grande, but she said she was very open about the fact that his addictions were part of the reason why their relationship did not work, because she said, I can't mother him and take care of him like that all the time and always be worried about if he's okay. It was just too much on her. So let's see. I'm just going to show you guys something really quick. So remember I did the chart of, I looked at Demi Lovato's chart last month when she had her overdose, which she thankfully survived from. Hold on, actually, let me do a comparison really quick and show you guys something just to kind of prove the point of when there's Neptune in the sky, Neptune squares, oppositions. This is when, if you have any type of issue with addiction or mental illness, you really, really need to make sure that you have a great support system, that you have great help, that you have whatever you need to like stay sane and stay grounded. So this is Demi Lovato's chart. You see, she was born the same year, 1992. Jupiter was in Virgo, okay? She has Jupiter and Venus conjunction in Virgo. Mac Miller, he has just Jupiter in Virgo. He also has Mercury and Uranus and Neptune all conjunct in Capricorn. So he did struggle with anxiety, with not feeling good enough, no matter how much he blew up and was successful. That's all Capricorn stuff. Capricorn can be like Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh, just like never feel like they are good enough. Everything is like, you can do better, you can do better, you can do better. And therefore, they are more susceptible to depression. And unfortunately, people who were born in the Neptune and Capricorn generation, they're having some issues. Well, especially while Saturn is there, Pluto is there right now. So Mercury, Uranus, and Neptune all conjunct. Neptune rules substances. I'm sorry, substances that drugs, pills, marijuana, alcohol. It rules all of that stuff. So his Mercury is conjunct that. So Mercury is the mind. So his mind was always on escaping reality somehow. Mercury also rules the hands. And, so he could have some hand habits of escapism through substance. So now where is Neptune transiting? It's right here in Pisces. This chart doesn't show it on Astro Theme, but Neptune is in Pisces. It's at 15 degrees of Pisces. And the sun today, which is September 7th, is in a conjunction with his natal Jupiter. It was conjunct since probably like the day before, like the 6th of September, maybe like at nighttime or something where he's at in California. Sun conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter deals with doing things in excess, okay, with overdoing things. And he had an overdose. The sun was on his Jupiter. Not everybody that goes through a Sun and Jupiter transit does things like this. Some people, they just feel happier and more excited about life, and they look at goals and, maybe they're traveling or something that's like beyond. Jupiter is one of those planets that can rule seeing beyond the day to day, or doing whatever you can to help yourself to see life in that type of a light. So, but it can be party, woo, just not thinking about consequences. And his own Neptune is here, so the sun was highlighting his Jupiter, which then activated this aspect between Jupiter and Neptune in his natal chart, and Mercury. So he wanted to party or feel like he was escaping reality. And then transiting Neptune is here, directly opposing this stuff. Okay. The opposition is worse than the trine can make somebody just, even though it's a good aspect, it can still make people kind of overdo things because they make them feel good. Trines feel good. Okay. But the opposition is like a problem. Usually there's a problem going on. So yeah, the sun conjunct his Venus, both oppose Neptune. Neptune is once again substances and dissolvement. So unfortunately that's what happened with Demi. Venus, it was when Venus was transiting Virgo. It was her Venus return. Transiting Neptune is already opposing all this stuff, and then Venus came along and activated all of this Virgo stuff, and her Jupiter, which was woo, let's party, and then opposing Neptune, that's like totally out of touch with reality and consequences, and through substances. Okay, so that's what happened to her, like overindulging. I'm pretty sure that's what happened to him as well. And it's crazy because he just had an article with Vulture, and it was just put out the 6th, and then he passed on the 7th. Very eerie, right? So, and he was a Cancer moon. Well, he could be a Leo moon. We don't have his birth time. If he was born like, in the late afternoon, in the evening, he could be a Leo moon. He looks to me like a Pisces. Like he has a Pisces look to him. He could be Pisces rising, but without a confirmed birth time, it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, we wish him well on his, journey as well as a soul into his next lifetime. Maybe he can come back and do things better next time. My condolences to his fans and his family and everything. And, just once again, this Neptune stuff in the air, you guys, it can really activate some ugly stuff for some people, like where they just really don't want to deal with life. So if that is you, be sure to get yourself the proper help. Okay. All right, you guys, I've got to go, and peace out. So thank you so much for tuning in. I should be back next week. I've been on and off with this stuff, congestion and everything. It's mostly cleared up today, mostly. So that's why I'm here. Thank goodness. So I should be back next week. But have a great new moon. Have a great weekend. And yeah, don't forget to hit me up if you would like any type of reading on astrolotta.com. The information is in the info box to my readers page. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good one. Peace.